right, fam. How y'all doing? So y'all already know I'm back on my journey coming to you all about the heart of worship. So my quick teaching for today is about a recent experience that I had with a loved one. And this encounter happened yesterday. And we kind of had like a little, I would say a little spiff, because the question was, what do you think about our new president? And I was like, what do you mean? It was like, what do you think about our new president? I gave my thoughts on it. And they didn't quite agree with what my thoughts were. I'm not going to, go into detail. But, my current standing is that I don't endorse. It is what it is, right? I'm not ashamed to say that I don't endorse. What does, light have any relation with darkness? You either for God or you're against him. It is what it is. You're either going to walk like him or you're not. There is no in between. You're either hot or you're cold. If you're lukewarm, you're worthy of being spewed out. I've spoken about this before. I don't have time to be anybody's vomit. And so, in the midst of all of that, this person I love so much, and this person loves me so much. But the conversation ended on, just the demonstration on what happened at the Olympics, how they mocked the Last Supper with Jesus. And my heart was so heavy. My heart was so heavy when I began to talk about how they mocked Jesus and how they had the golden calf and, just all of that. It was just, my heart was set. I just started crying. And because before that, God told me when we were having our so-called heated debate about the so-called new president, he told me, he said, you can't make anybody believe or see anything. Your position is to water and to sow. It is up to me to give the increase. Your heart is to stay postured towards me. Always in a place of worship, always in a place of where you are submitted completely and totally to my spirit. I got really burdened and heavy because we began to talk about what was happening at the Olympics. And I was just like, wish we had someone who had a heart after God, someone who would just love him, like someone who really loves him. I said, if you study the Bible, it's a pattern. I said, he'll deliver us and then we'll spit in his face. God will deliver us and then we'll spit in his face. Over and over again. It's like a pattern. It's a pattern. And then we'll beg him for a king, and he'll give us a king after his own heart. And then we don't want that king, though. We want the one that we desire. And then he'll give us the desires. He'll give us into our delusion. And then that delusion will come in and turn stuff upside down. And then this is what we have. We have all these ungodly initiatives and things going on in the world, and then we end up crying out again for him to deliver us. And so I began to weep, and the person that I was debating with was like, okay, baby, I see you. I see your heart. I see your heart. It was for me to display the love of God. It was for me to display how my heart is postured towards God. Our calling, our responsibility is not to necessarily debate always back and forth, especially when there's a stony heart or there's fallow ground that needs to be broken up. Sometimes people need to see how our heart is postured towards the things of God, like the godly sorrow. That is what sometimes will break up the fallow ground so that God can do his miraculous work in someone. That is what is needed sometimes so that God can come in and give the increase. And with that, because of my display of godly sorrow yesterday, God was able to come in and God was able to come in and turn that thing around, and we were able to worship. It was an amazing experience. So what am I saying today? All you have to do is display. Our life should be on display. Life should scream that we love Jesus. Life should scream that we love Jesus. Our daily walk, the things that we do, our constant state of repentance should scream that we love Jesus. Not a heated debate. Not I'm right and you're wrong. You're right and I'm wrong, or vice versa. It shouldn't be that. Just our godly sorrow should be a display. Our heart of worship should be enough to change a generation, to change a person in their belief, in their way of thinking. So today, think about it. What am I doing? What does my life look like? Does my heart display a posture of worship? Or am I out here just trying to prove a point or make myself look like I love Jesus? Or am I actually walking the walk? Yeah, I know it's loud out here, but you know what? My walk is louder because I love Jesus. All day, every day, I'll scream it to the mountaintops. I love Jesus. I love you. God is amazing. Let's have a heart posture of worship, guys. That's all I got for you today. Peace. I love you.